Major reconstruction for Highlands Highway. Hagen hosts advanced team for direct service. And Southern Region Governors united for progress.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Hello and thank you for joining me for Thursday's news. Works Minister Michael Nali has announced the national government will release 3 billion kina funding under the Asian Development Bank for major works on the Highlands Highway. Minister Nali said the government is planning a major reconstruction and not just maintenance work. Part of this major plan will see the Simbu province given new roads, while missing road links connected to the main highway will be opened up. The minister announced this during his visit to certain areas of the Highlands Highway, including Menyamya in the Morobe province earlier this week.
The Works Minister this week visited certain areas of the Highlands Highway, including Menyamya in the Morobe province. He was accompanied by Works Secretary David Were and other regional and provincial works managers. The first stop was in Mount Hagen. Mount Hagen's first 4-lane road is from Kagamuga to Keltiga. The delegation inspected the beginning of this construction phase.
This project now, Highlands Highway now, me like a 3 billion kina. Government loan is giving you me. When me start construction, law, Tamblo law, Najap Airport, now by can finish law, Kagamuga Airport. 3 billion.
Tiwaka Province and Simbu were the next stop over. At Simbu, the minister inspected a section near Chuave district that was washed away by heavy rains. He committed a slice of the 3 billion kina funding for this section of the highway, as Simbu is one of the most difficult areas to maintain due to its rugged terrain and waterlogged areas.
The highway bagat 2+ section by Yimiwokim. One lot by Statambo lo Najab, by Kamanta lo Engenofi. Nala and by section by Engenofi, Igolo Kagamuga. That's on Namelo Disla. We got Simbu section by stop.
Special section.
And by one last special section. And by start lo Chuawe and by finish Tamblo lo Munde, lo border.
For Simbu section alone, we're looking at quite large portion. Even one third of the loan funding might be absorbed into Simbu section to address the unstable conditions.
The visit continued to Eastern Highlands and onwards to Morobe province. In Leh, the minister visited several roads before flying over missing road links of Morobe and Gulf. A portion of the funds will open missing road links and complete the construction of the Trans Highway between Gulf, Morobe and Southern Highlands province. The first stop was in Menyamya.
Road stop and school by come, housing by come, all mama to buy go karem pignini. You make an planning coffee, one of Kaja, you make a caramel market, na kind of sama. So, behind, and we must open him this road up, one plus time. You know, behind too much, but then one important road, we must open it.
Like many rural communities, Menyamya is tucked away between mountain ranges, making it difficult for construction of standard roads.
Me like Kopla road play me, it must come up. Na link long one place lo yumi water area it must stop strong. This road is also important lo mibla by safe long him. Time picnic or all mama panim heavy or all man punta lo diwa or this line by safe easy cross to lo house it.
Talk long lot local. Mibla nirim. Thank you to long yibla kam when up where minima mibla sirania. The
minister's visit is part of the Works Department's mandate in ensuring government-funded projects in all major highways throughout the country are progressing well and of standards. The minister has already visited major highways in the NGI region. The Sepik Highway from Wewak to the PNG-Indonesia border in Vanimo is next. Stanley Ove Jr., National EMTV News.
Still on roads, the Works Minister has commended residents of Mount Hagen City who have allowed for the demolishing of their properties to build the Kagamuga to Kiltiga 4-lane road. Upon visiting the site on Monday, Minister Nali said the government is expanding its major cities throughout the country and the people must accept change. He also urged people who have grievances on the matter to seek advice from the Works Department, as there are processes in place to get compensation for properties or land damage because of developments.
Big last Kim Blomi, MEOSM, please. You blamas, Albin contractor, me talk Cervical contractor finish. One map where you by Nitlo realign him road. Minimum so what's got big flag ground is established the last side. Now upside you know got plenty house or business. Me to you move him road you go back legally where you know got infrastructure stuff, so you mean not can destroy him plenty something. One map you got space, you mean Nitlo shift him road. You no got space, Bambla no got choice, so Bambla must demolish. So all the little man, China buy me come, he no come nothing. Government is selling me come. Law work him did law work. Blow work him, you me sit down good. Plenty time you me walk around and you me think about me one law of cut man, me make use man, me no got name blow me this law, me this law. That's all me talking you. Time development come laws do you. Life blue you too by senis.
Justin Tichenko has been appointed as Minister responsible for APEC 2018. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill says Tichenko has substantial experience in the coordination of major events at the ministerial level, and it's timely for him to resume the portfolio added to his current portfolio of lands and physical planning. While the APEC year is only months away, substantial attention will be on the delivery of major projects: the APEC House, Hilton Hotel, and the renovation and upgrade of Marata House and the National Convention Centre. The new APEC 2018 minister has welcomed his appointment and is looking forward to many challenges ahead. Minister Tichenko thanked the Prime Minister for the trust and confidence on his leadership. A team from the Papua province of Indonesia and the Indonesian embassy in Papua New Guinea were in Mount Hagen for 2 days. Dialogues were centered on the possibility of a sister city agreement and final paperwork for the direct international flights from Kagamuga International Airport to Sentani in Jayapura. Airline operator PNG Air has been given the green light to operate this international route.
The team from Jayapura visited Kagamuga International Airport yesterday, not only to see the facilities, but see possibilities to have a sister city agreement between the Papuan province and Mount Hagen City. Papuan Province Head of Border and International Cooperation, Susanna Wangai, says this is the beginning of the two provinces' relationship. Wangai says the Indonesian government has already opened the land border with PNG and they are looking forward to open sea, air and communication.
And then this is very important to us. This is why we are here to bring this picture to our government. And we just hope that we can open this soon.
PNG Air will soon open its direct flights from Kagamuga International Airport to Sentani in Jayapura. There will be 3 flights per week from Mount Hagen to Sentani. All PNG Air flights out of PNG to Indonesia will transit via Mount Hagen. Mount Hagen to Jayapura is a 1-hour 45-minute flight. International Affairs and advisor to the Papuan Governor, Edwin Jelma, says the Sentani port of Jayapura has 47 destinations. Traveling to Sentani will cut costs instead of traveling to Port Moresby, Australia, Singapore and then to Indonesia.
Like oxen palm and products from Papua New Guinea, we want to introduce also for Indonesian market. At the moment in Jayapura, it's big market also for vanilla.
Western Highlands Provincial Administrator Joseph Nang says the province is looking forward to the international flights to Jayapura. Nang said the province's strength is in coffee and it is looking forward to trade with Indonesia and share its common cultures.
The people of Western Highlands and particularly the people of the Highlands region, they are very determined to see we have these flights open. Because from what we know, we have a lot of things that we can have some common our culture, our land area, our climate, and trading, tourism, in business.
The team was impressed with the facilities at Kagamuka International Airport. Vasinatha Yama, National MTV News, Mount Hagen.
Meanwhile, it was welcoming news for PNG Air of the visit by the team from the Papua province of Indonesia and the Indonesian embassy in Papua New Guinea. Chief Commercial Officer Paul Abbott was happy of the visit, which will enable the commencement of air services. He said work on the scheduled passenger services from PNG to Indonesia is well on track. Governors in the southern region have pledged their support to collaborate and improve provincial economies through aligned policies. Gulf Governor Chris Haiveta says the southern region communique is the first with emphasis overhaul the role of provincial governments and improve relationships between the 5 provinces. The Southern Region Governors Conference was held in Alotau and ended yesterday.
Following the two-day meeting, Alotau, Central, Northern and Gulf governors arrived back in Port Moresby this morning. Northern Governor Gary Juva says there is no policy guiding the 5 provinces over ownership of resources and how best people can benefit.
We want to be able to better protect our resources, better protect our people, and be participating in the economic development of our resources, having a say in what happens.
Among the pressing issues discussed in Alotau, the governors want a more aligned and workable structure in the provincial governments. They believe better aligned policies will be introduced, especially areas of public service, tax compliance, land boundaries and road networking.
Participate in ensuring there is an economic base large enough for us to draw internal revenues in the forms of, in a way of raising taxes and the powers that are given to us.
The 5 governors also request a MOU to be established between state agencies to improve and monitor the registration of businesses in the region. With the southern region to be linked to Highlands by a road connection, Central Governor Robert Agarobe wants better planning among the provinces.
Because it's not going to affect Central, it will affect NCD, Central, Gulf, and even go as far as Millen Bay and even trickle all the way down to Oro in the future. So it's how we sit down and within the southern region, how we sit down and try to manage this and look at ways of managing rather than wait till it happens and then we're stuck with a lot of problems.
Jack Lopava Jr., National MTV News.
Employees of Papua New Guinea Teachers Savings and Loan Society today joined counterparts from across the globe in commemorating International Credit Union Day. With the theme Dreams Thrive Here, employees took time off from their busy schedule to reflect on how far TISA has come and also look at ways to improve service to their contributors.
Since its inception in 1972, the Papua New Guinea Teachers Savings and Loan Society has grown into being the largest credit union in Papua New Guinea and the Pacific, part of the World Council of Credit Unions, a worldwide group of not-for-profit financial cooperatives that provide an effective and viable alternative to commercial banks. As part of its membership to WCCU, TISA employees took time to commemorate International Credit Union Day today. According to TISA Head of Corporate Services, Poni Korua, it was fitting for TISA to commemorate this day, especially given the tremendous advances that TISA has achieved in recent years in delivering products to its members.
Of improving in our services to our members, we've set up TISA Community Finance. It's a finance company specifically designed to serve our members as well as other individuals in PNG. Every year we see an increase in membership driven by L3, as he said, and the average member increase every year is like 2,000, 3,000. So it's good and encouraging.
Whilst teachers still make up a significant proportion of overall contributions, there are growing numbers of contributors from other sectors within the public service.
The services that we provided not only goes to the teachers but also the public servants at the moment. It's the loans that we provided are pretty reasonable rates for savings and loans. The service we have include normal personal loans and the ones that we always advertise, which is L3, which is to get public servants to join the society.
As part of commemorations today, prizes were awarded to best dressed employees as well as best decorated divisions.
We join together with the rest of the world, the credit union movement is to save our members. Credit union started off with workers getting together to help one another when they realized that banks and big commercial banks were unable to help them getting simple loans to help their everyday living.
Having a foothold in the savings and loans business for the public sector, there are also plans to venture into the private sector with an offering for private sector employees. This, though, dependent on when the new Savings and Loan Act comes into effect. Merabatulo, National EMTV News.
Among stories after the break, Madang town residents threaten to shut down water, lack of family planning creates population boom, and Health Minister urges TB patients to take medication. Stay with us for details. Welcome back. Over 5,000 people living in wards 2 and 3 of Ambanob LLG in Madang have threatened to shut down water supply into the main town area on Monday. They claimed after 3 months they haven't received any favorable response from the 2-page petition presented on June 20 to the Provincial Administrator, Provincial Police Commander and Water PNG. Martha Louise reports from Madang.
At 4 p.m. yesterday, community members and leaders from wards 2 and 3 in the Ambanob LLG met at Beyond Road Junction. The meeting was to decide on their next plan if their demands are not met by police and the Madang Provincial Administration. In the petition, they demanded an end to criminal activities, the sealing of the road, and for a police post to be built. It's been 3 months since they last staged a peaceful march in Madang town to present their demands.
Number one man I'm been back in talk from Mipla. PPC belong Madang province mi talk. Ami amas trulo kisim sa petition. Now got the talk belong you play sta belongan e mama mas nambe mekim. I'm talk belongan. I'm no talk by me no mekim, I'm talking by mekim. Same time PA belong Madang province. Then lalo yemi come to me give me good talk. Now only talk me play no from talk me no good. Talk we all give me blow sem all by making long and all talking me blah. One kind of water PNG or to give me blah. But since the time now me blah workers down is time 3 blah money go, me blah no be got one blah good feedback. Maybe me blah giaman man blong all come giaman me blah here. Or secondly me blah no people blow madang.
So question blame yourself one time ball start walking more slow something. Demand 1.3 I'm talk 3 or more police officers to be stationed low water about close to Tambloya. That's all to date. You know what one something come up. The time asking BBC I'm talking same. Me bla need law setting one bla one parental agreement or kind of same.
Community leaders say they have not seen any of their demands fully addressed since the last time they met with the Provincial Administrator, Daniel Aloy, and the PPC, Jacob Singura.
We play like a police presence, and we saw him to Blakar, and must run maybe twice a day, or I'm not walking this walk.
Women also took the time to express their fear of being attacked by criminals.
Hap we mi pla saiti money mi pla saiti in bra pen so save life do mi pla. But mi pla struggle of feeding family now san up mi pla still struggle but pla bungin sa heavy lo roaded.
Lawanem. Emos mi karim big pla heavy come na enough now. Thank you.
Community leader Henry Makul says they need a response from authorities by 3 p.m. on Monday. If the demands are not met, they will stop the supply of water into the Madang town vicinity.
So me bla all the man Mary Lohia, me bla ask him government, blow me Madang administrator, PPC, water PNG, 3 o'clock, Monday, 23 October, almost come and tablo here, me bla waiting more, give me bla good bla talk sabe na ba me bla go one time. Otherwise, same day only go bla passing water.
The demands followed a number of armed robberies in which passengers were attacked along the Bion Road. In May, an unprovoked attack on a woman and her grandson incited locals to stage a peaceful protest march in June this year. From an official report, another fight broke out earlier this morning between two different factions of the community. Meanwhile, our attempts to get comments from the provincial police commander and the provincial administrator were unsuccessful. Martha Louise, National EMTV News, Medang.
Cases of unplanned pregnancies are escalating in Papua New Guinea. Obstetrician and gynecologist Dr. One Rageau says with the boom in population density, this shows this lack of family planning, and the national government must look into this serious problem, which is an impediment to social and economic development in the country.
Dr. Rageau is an obstetrician and gynecologist of 37 years. An issue of current concern is unplanned pregnancies, where many mothers do not follow family planning.
We have a population which is unknown, and that population is getting on too much. The rate of 3% per annum is extremely very rapid population rate. And if we don't look after our population, we have a problem. So many of our mothers, they don't go on family planning. And I was surprised that just currently, people are now trying to put together, health secretary is talking about a family planning. And that is most important. But in the last 42 years, we haven't been doing much.
The National Health Department's recent move on family planning is the way forward to reduce high maternal mortality cases in the country. The uncontrolled growth in population is an issue with successive governments having failed to address.
You see, mothers dying from childbirth is more than a natural, birth. Natural people dying. So childbirth itself is a major problem. And in order to stop mothers from dying from birth complications, it prevents a pregnancy. And that's where family planning applies. So it is most important that every individual person, that if you have a relationship, you must plan to get pregnant in order to look after your body.
Dr. Rageau says PNG's population has been growing at an average growth rate of 3% and must be controlled. He said the nation is already running into hurdles of inadequate social services because the population has tripled in recent times.
You don't train or you don't educate a population, subsequently they depend on you. And if they are not educated and they're dependent on somebody else to give them, what is the logic there? This is a Christian country. We are blessed. And if we have to use our talent and look after ourselves, meaning that look after all those people who can be also trained and become somebody, that is our mission. This is where we should be taking regard.
Fabian Haklitz, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, Dr. Rageau reiterated that prevention is better than cure. He encouraged women to visit healthcare facilities for pap smear tests.
The message is we should go ahead with the program. Rather than having symptoms, you go ahead when there's no symptoms. Because you can only screen at the early stage and find the early stage of cancer without symptoms. When you start doing that, you can control that cervical cancer.
Health Minister Cervical is urging tuberculosis patients to take their medical drugs when they are supposed to, rather than delaying their dosage. Cervical says that has been the challenge for the department to combat the growth of the disease. He says the O'Neill-able government will continue to prioritize treatment for TB patients in the country.
The health minister says TB cases have seen a dramatic increase, especially in Western, Northern, NCD and Central. However, the department is seeing an increase with reported cases of TB patients not taking the medical drugs on time.
Challenge is when the drugs are given, they must be taken on time rather than miss 1 day, 2 days. and then don't finish the total course of the duration of 6 months, for example, that's when the resistance begins to appear.
According to a 2016 report by World Health Organization, tuberculosis is responsible for more deaths than HIV and malaria globally. In PNG, the success rate of treatment is 67%. The health minister says if TB patients can improve their consistency when taking the dose, the reports will improve.
Is taking the medicine on a timely basis every day and to complete the full course. That's where the system must supervise.
Over 400 million kina in funding was allocated by the O'Neill Dion government to eradicate TB cases in the southern region. However, health statistics indicate a climb in numbers for cases in Mount Hagen, West New Britain and Morobe. Minister Temu says sufficient funding will be allocated in the supplementary budget.
We give sufficient amount to purchase those drugs to make sure that those with TB resistance bugs are given the adequate amount of drugs that they need to take on time.
Jack Lopava Jr., National EMTV News.
And to news in Ley, a 68-year-old Englishman will appear for mention at the courthouse tomorrow. He was arrested and charged by the police on Wednesday last week for not paying his hotel bills of over 37,000 kina. Ley's acting Metropolitan Superintendent Timothy Pomoso says the expatriate's visa expired the day after his arrest.
According to police reports, the expatriate came into the country on a tourist visa 65 days ago. Ley's acting Metropolitan Superintendent Timothy Pomoso said the expat and his friends from PNG were then engaged in a gold buying business. On the 13th of August this year, he booked into a transit hotel outside of Ley and left last week Sunday without paying his bills.
The complaint was he checked out from that hotel without paying his hotel bills. The hotel bills went up to some 37,000 kina, 880 kina 50 toya.
The hotel's human resources and security manager said they laid a complaint against him because he was unable to pay his bills. Pomoso said the police tracked down his vehicle and located him at another lodge while he was checking in last week, Wednesday. The expat was arrested that night and remains in police custody at the Ley police station.
He has been arrested and charged for one count of obtaining goods on credit under the criminal code. So he's now in police custody. We had his officers from the British High Commission that came here yesterday and visited him. We gave them the okay to visit him. They talked to him. I don't know what they said to him, but he's still in. He was supposed to appear in court yesterday. But because of their visit, we will put an agenda to tomorrow, Friday. It's going to appear in court for mention.
Ley's acting Matsup says the expert's 60 days visa expired on the 12th of October this year. Pomoso called on government authorities such as immigration, customs and police to work together to avoid such incidents. Julie Badui Owa, National EMTV News, Ley.
And now looking at our finance news, the kina closed unchanged at $0.3125 in the interbank markets. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.305, $0.3847 Australian dollars, $0.2547 euro and 34.1 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, coffee, cocoa and copra closed higher, while gold is trading the day lower. Palm oil closed higher, crude oil is trading lower, while copper closed the day lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 160.16 points higher, the ASX closed at 5.62 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed at 4.98 points higher. Stories making headlines overseas. When we return, stay with us. Welcome back to the news. A community leader from the mine-impacted area in Watut, Morobe Province says there needs to be more awareness made to people about the dangers of using mercury in small-scale mining. Some people know about the dangers, but most still deal with the chemical directly.
President of the Watut River Communities Association, Ruben Mete, says the use of mercury is widespread in the area. Locals are exposed to the chemical every day, despite the health dangers it has.
During the early times, the only technique that they know or surveillance mercury, using of mercury to extract gold from sand.
Mining has been in the area since the 1930s. Locals have since been exposed to alluvial mining, using mercury to extract gold from sand along the river. According to Mr. Mete, there are high levels of mercury being used by locals.
Despite all knowledge or surveillance and wrong using mercury, they still using mercury at the moment.
Despite trainings being given to locals about the uses of mercury, more awareness still needs to be done.
There needs to be some control or usage of mercury. I think we believe information the whole time community and all clear good now all surveil or risk no and all trying to minimize him.
Community leaders through the Watut Rivers Association are willing to work with other stakeholders to address this problem. They have been involved in building aid posts, schools and other community-based projects in the area. Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Leh.
Sago may not be as popular as rice, banana and taro, but it is a staple food that makes up the daily meal for many coastal villages. More so, what's more significant about the crop is its tolerance to drought. Agriculture institutions in recent years have identified sago as a food source that can be used during very harsh drought conditions. In Kokopo, Edwin Fidelis with this report.
Not every coastal village has sago as part of their daily menu, but in some places like the Sepik Plateau, Gulf and Western Province, sago is always at the heart of their meals, eaten at least 3 times a day. This is a group of people from a small East Sepik community at Vudal on the outskirts of Kokopo town. During the recent World Food Day celebration last Saturday, they demonstrated how they prepare sago. It is a very laborious job.
May raus miskin, clear him off. Bien now, by all money sikrapim saksak now. Only sikrapim, paiti mi kamo powder, sali mi kam long yen now, and only wash him now, or mama wash him now.
Sago contains a high deposit of starch. The nutritious substance is found within the stalk of the sago palm, and to extract it, the palm has to be processed into sawdust. The sawdust is repeatedly mixed with water, washed and squeezed. After a few hours, the sago has been set to settle. The water is then removed. What is left is a sludge-like substance which contains exclusively of starch.
Saksagi pom tamblo, rausim wara boy lugi saksagi sta tamblo finish. Bien rausim, puti mi golong onem pot or bucket or onem something now. Am you ready now long boy volume hotora or you tanim nangu or saksagi boy kege now.
About 300 kilograms can be extracted from a single palm and can last for more than 6 months. The tree itself takes about 10 to 15 years to fully mature. And although the sago tree is not seasonal as many other food crops, it provides a source of food for those places where there is limited land to cultivate garden food. In recent years, agricultural institutions such as the National Agricultural Research Institute have identified sago as an important food source that can be used during very harsh drought conditions. Reports from NARI have also indicated that PNG has over 1 million hectares of landmass covered with sago, and of these only 300,000 hectares can be accessed and harvested. It can grow in environments where other crops may not, and there is no advanced technology needed for its cultivation, processing and storage. The entire process is done using traditional skills and knowledge. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
Turning overseas, a charity which has been providing life-changing eyesight operations to Pacific Islanders for 25 years is facing a new challenge. The Fred Hollows Foundation has seen a large increase in people with diabetes seeking their help. The Pacific has the highest instances of the condition in the world.
Emerging from the darkness and being able to see again is one of the greatest gifts of all. Can you see? 50,000 sight-saving surgeries, a legacy that's changing the lives of Pacific people.
It really is a marker in the history of the development of eye care, where we're able to celebrate some of the great successes we've had. but also re-energise ourselves for the work that still needs to be done.
The Fred Hollows Foundation said to change the way it works because of diabetes. The Pacific has the world's highest rates of the disease, which can cause blindness. In the past, overseas specialist teams were sent in, causing issues for patients travelling from remote areas. Now the charity's training up local staff, working with governments to set up outreach clinics to access at-risk patients.
That's a huge difference to the old concept of fly in and fly out. You've now got consistency, you've got culturally appropriate care.
It is urgently needed. Here in Samoa, it's estimated a quarter of the population has diabetes. Local eye staff are key to diagnosing problems and encouraging villagers to get tested early.
The ones that we are seeing, we're seeing too late. A lot of them have already lost their vision. So we are making this service accessible to the rural community.
These community clinics are starting to make a difference. GPs are on board, referring anyone with diabetes to have an eye test.
That's what I'm seeing now. Is numbers is going high now, but it's good that we want to run a clinic here.
Samoans treating Samoans is proving a successful remedy.
We discuss everything in our language.
The New Zealand government's given the Fred Hollows Foundation $7.5 million over 5 years, and that's going into funding programs like this.
A small price to pay for results like this.
Chukai Sports is next. Don't go away.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. PNG female rugby player Amelia Cook has been dropped from the Australian Jillaroos World Cup team. The PNG Rugby Football League management is yet to establish contact with Cook to see if she can join the Orchids.
Amelia Cook from the Western Highlands province was selected into the Australian Jillaroos team to take on the Orchids last month.
We have not established any communication as yet, but that will depend on what PNG Rugby League management, if they can be able to establish communication with her, then we'll see from my own opinion if she's willing to take up the Orchids jumper.
The only inclusion from Australia into the Orchid squad is Jasmine Taumafai, who was recommended by the Jillaroos coach. Apart from Jasmine, a new player has been included in the team.
We saw the need for a 9, for a dummy half, so we had to search around, and eventually we found one from Mosby Rugby League, and we were able to include her into the current team that is going down to Cairns for the games.
There are no injury concerns at this stage, with many of them passing fitness tests. This will be the first time for many players to play rugby league outside of the country. With the help of mentor David Wesley, the girls have picked up during training and are where they want to be at this stage.
Wesley has been really good helping us. He's been playing in the highest level, so he's brought all his experience, his knowledge to us, teaching us and getting us to that next level, trying to put us there. But he's trying his very best to help all of us get to that next level.
The team left today for Australia, where they take on the invitational side in Innisfail. After Cairns, the Orchids will name their final 24-member squad for the Rugby League World Cup. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
PNG Kumul players based overseas arrived in Port Moresby to start preparations for their first match. The team had 3 days off, returning to their families after the Tri-Series in Fiji last weekend. A few players are still recovering from minor injuries, with the biggest concern being 5'8" Aze Boas. The others include Nene McDonald, Rod Griffin and James Sigiaro. But coach Michael Marum is confident they will recover before their first match next weekend. Chukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome back to Chukai Sports. Rugby League World Cup CEO Andrew Hill will be joining the Canterbury Bulldogs management team once the World Cup is over. He will officially start as the head of the NRL club in December, but has been actively involved since the season ended last month.
Having already installed new coach Dean Pay following Des Hasler's sacking after a number of players left under his watch, Hill's main focus now is on the global tournament. He was announced as the incoming CEO in August and since then has been involved in the club's recent major decisions. For now, while the club concentrates on the finer details, the rugby league boss prepares to deliver the World Cup. The tournament will kick off when Australia hosts England in Melbourne next Friday. With Hill to hold the club's reins in December, there are already positive developments as former players such as hooker Michael Licha are now interested to sign up with the club after being let go under former coach Hasler. Dinero Cervical, National, EMTV Sports.
Jillaroos forward Ruan Sims believes the pressure is on New Zealand to deliver on their strong history in the game. The Jillaroos are undefeated in 4 clashes this season against the Kiwi Ferns but entered the Rugby League Women's World Cup 2011 as defending world champions.
Australia ended a 13-year drought to win their first Women's World Cup in 2013, delivering New Zealand their first ever defeat in the process with a 22-10 victory in the final at Headingley. Ruan Sims is one of the 7 players in the current Jillaroos squad that won 4 years ago. Sims was adamant the Kiwi fans are the side to beat when games kick off from November 16th in Sydney. On record, the Kiwis were the 3-time champions, and Australia will for the first time backing up a win of the previous tournament. Sims has been around long enough to know the rising stature of the women's game has led to an increased expectation for the Australian team, and says the experienced players in the team will ensure the pressure doesn't get to the squad's 16 debutants. The Jillaroos will sidestep New Zealand in the pool stages with clashes against England and Cook Islands to start their campaign. Whilst the fans take on PNG in Canada before the semis. Shane Saroya, National, EMTV Sports.
That's it for True Kai Sports, where the details up next.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.